got this fabric. It's a circular tablecloth. It's 70 inches in diameter, and which means it's 35 inches the radius. And I also got that fabric, which is old valance curtain. And I got these at a thrift store. I think they were $1 each. Excuse me. So I want to make a circle wrap skirt out of it because it's a circular tablecloth. So it's going to be a very simple project. I think anyone could do this. But you got to be careful. So there's a couple different types of skirts you could make with a 70-inch tablecloth, especially depending on how big around you are. This skirt, excuse me, is going to be made into a wrap skirt, which means I'm going to cut the side open. You could also just make it a circle skirt and put elastic in the middle, which is great. It's super fast. All you have to do is cut a hole and cut the channel. That's it. One seam, the whole thing. Super simple. But I want a wrap skirt because it's nice for me to just tie them around my waist, so I don't have to pull them up over my hips or down over my head. It's just more comfortable for me, and I already have the green wrap skirt I did last year, 2 years ago. I don't remember at this point. And this one, I'm going to use this curtain as either a ruffle, or I might go around the top and make like a tier. I think that would be super cute as well. If you can see it, there's a little trim on this curtain. I might use that to make ties. My other option is to use it to bind where I cut. So here you have the circle, and it's folded into 8s. And what I did is I pinned the bottom so it's nice and straight, because this is an old tablecloth, which to me means that it's already stretched out on the bias as much as it's going to. And when I folded it earlier, it was super uneven. So I refolded it this time, and I made sure the hem was even. And then I pinned it super tight, and I took my hands and I brushed all of the excess up to the top, and I pinned the top. And then I measured from the bottom, not the top. I measured from the bottom 25 inches, because from the top, that would be 25. It would be 10, but it's not exactly 70, so it was 9 inches from the top, which means if it's 9 inches from the top, that gives me about a 60-inch circumference, which will be plenty enough to wrap around my waist with overlap, which is what I need. Because it's a wrap skirt, you have to have the front panels cross each other. Otherwise, you might do some unsolicited advertising. Yes, so you have to make sure they're wrapped with a very large amount of overlap. So now, what I'm gonna do is, because I only did 9 inches, there's a little bit of seam allowance included in the pin. So I'm going to cut the tip of the circle off, which would make the bottom the circle I want with a hole in the middle. And then I have to cut up one of the sides. I have to be careful because I want to cut up the side that is the most on grain. Then I'll have a giant circle with a slit in it. And then from there, you hem the sides, and then you hem the top, or you could hem the top and then the sides, and then you put some ties on. So hopefully by using the method of measuring it from the bottom, truing the bottom and pushing everything up, all of the distortion is transferred to this part. So let's just take a look at it. Yeah, you can see it's relatively circular, but it's a little shorter right here. So obviously you could stop right here and just make it a circle skirt. All you do is you just fold over top edge and put elastic channel in it, and it's done. there you have a skirt. It's already have a finished edge, and you don't have to worry about it. It's completely done. But I'm not gonna go the easy way, because of course. So I'm going to open the side. So theoretically, this interior diameter should be about 60 inches. Just make sure that this interior diameter, if you're going to just make a circle skirt, is as big as your hips. So if you make it smaller than your hips, you won't be able to put it on over your hips. You have to put it on over your head. So make sure it's bigger, because the elastic will take the extra ease out. So make sure it's bigger. And I already put a slit right here, so I'm just going to follow that up to the center of the skirt. And the reason I put it on grain is because that way it's the least likely to stretch out over time. Another cute thing you could do with making a skirt like this is you could put a radius right here and have a ruffle, and that looks really nice as well. But I'm not going to do that. It'd look really cute though. I've done it in the past. But I'm not going to do it on this one. So I got to take the seam ripper and take this off right here. And lucky for me, all I have to do is cut it to length and sew it on, or sew it on and then cut it to length. Because it's already pressed and folded and everything. So it's going to be super easy. You could just roll, and hem. And have it like that. And that looks nice as well. It's more... yeah. I guess you could say it's more invisible. I don't know if it really is, but... on the other half. I started in the middle because I figured that was the easiest way to make sure this was centered over this. So I cut a little bit off the edge. I trued it and then I cut a little off the edge. I'm going to use this as ties because the bias tape wasn't long enough to go around. Well, I mean, it's long enough to go around the top edge, but not enough to go around and tie. So I've been thinking, and I was trying to decide whether I want to cut this. It's 18 inches this way. So I was deciding whether to cut it into a 9-inch ruffle or 6-inch ruffle. And I think the 6-inch ruffle will look better. I think the 9-inch ruffle will just look awkward. Because it hits, the skirt right now hits at my knees. So I think this 6-inch ruffle will look the best, and it'll give it more gathers, which I think will look way cuter. So I'm going to cut this, sew it together, and serge the top and bottom edge, just like I did on the corduroy skirt ruffle. Okay, I have this strip that was cut off the top of the valance, and it's uneven. It's anywhere between like 1.5 inches to 1 3/4, maybe even 2 inches in some spot. But I want to use it as a tie, but I like this length, and the only way to finish these edges is and keep this width would be to serge the edges, and that will leave the back side exposed, and it won't be super strong because it's just I think it's a cotton polyester blend maybe. So I have this leftover fabric. It's a broadcloth from college, and I'm going to use this to back this, which I think is going to be a good solution because it's very similar to the color of the tablecloth. See, this is the tablecloth. That's my goodness, it's almost dead on. So I'm going to use this and then just serge the two edges together, and we'll keep that as the tie. So this will be the front, that'll be the back, and I think that'll be super cute. So I'm just going to cut a strip of this at the smallest length of this so that I can make this one width, but I gotta go figure out what that is. So it looks like the smallest width of this is 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to cut 1.5 inch strips out of this fabric as I explained. fix a ruffle the easy way by using a gathering foot. Now all you do is mess with the stitch length and the tension so that you get the amount of ruffles you want. So this is what I have right now. And I'm just gonna go through. And I have it farther from the top, because that way I get the ruffle on the top and the bottom, and I think that'll look, I think that looks the best. So you just sew it. So I've pinned the ruffle onto the bottom of the skirt, and I want to show you. It goes all the way around, but it does not go all the way around the bottom layer. I just don't have enough fabric for it. And I think, I think that's perfectly acceptable, because the layer underneath is just for modesty, and it overlaps enough so that it looks like, oh, got a little scratchy boy coming in. Oh, he's just being annoying. That's okay. It overlaps enough so that it looks like it's like all the way around on everything, but it's not. And also that'll reduce the bulk, and I think that's okay. If I spread it out anymore, there won't be as dense of a ruffle. And I like the way this looks. So I'm just gonna sew this down, and that's almost the end of the skirt. I have to attach the ties to the waist after that. So I just finished pinning the straps on, and I'm going to sew them down here and across. That's it. This part is inside here, and it'll be tucked away inside the tail. But I'm just going to sew top stitch. That's the whole entire skirt done. I'm just gonna try it on. So here's the final result. I think it turned out really cute, especially considering it was a curtain and a tablecloth. Got a bit of movement, not too much, but it's cute. It's lightweight, easy to put on, and I think the ruffles and the color of the tablecloth match each other quite nicely. If I was going to do this again, I would make this straight down, because right now it goes at a slant, and that just wants to go like that, and then it makes that part longer, which I don't like. I'd like to extend a big thank you to all 24 of my subscribers. I really enjoyed making this project, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks again. See you in a couple